What happens when a beloved music legend, known for her charm, resilience, and decades of loyalty to her fans, suddenly finds herself in the middle of one of the most explosive live television moments ever seen on morning TV? That's exactly what unfolded when Reba McEntire, one of the most powerful voices in country music, joined the Today Show with Jenna and friends. What should have been a lighthearted conversation about her new tour and her legacy quickly spiraled into a heated confrontation that left the entire studio stunned and viewers across the country speechless. Instead of sharing her excitement about new songs and celebrating her storied career, Reba found herself defending her artistry, her choices, and even her integrity. By the time it was all over, she had made a decision that nobody in the room expected. She walked off the set, leaving behind shockwaves that would ripple across social media and the entertainment industry for days. It began like any other morning in the studio. The lights shone bright, the crowd applauded warmly, and the energy was cheerful. Reba, dressed with her usual grace and confidence, smiled as she greeted staff and waved to the audience. She had come prepared to talk about her long-awaited tour, her new music, and maybe even share a few laughs about her career in television. Everything seemed normal, even perfect. But underneath the polished surface of morning TV, a storm was about to form. Jenna Bush Hager welcomed her with enthusiasm. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a true icon with us. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to the incomparable Reba McEntire. The crowd erupted in cheers. Reba nodded graciously, and the energy felt promising. Reba, it's such a joy to have you here. You look stunning as always, Jenna added with a wide smile. Reba responded kindly. Thank you. Jenna, it's always nice to be here and talk to the fans. But instead of moving straight into Reba's projects, Jenna shifted gears with a tone that seemed sharper than expected. Reba, before we dive into the exciting news about your tour, I'd like to ask something a little different. There's been a lot of conversation lately about authenticity in country music. Some critics claim that certain artists, even those with long careers, are straying from their roots in order to appeal to the mainstream. Do you think that's true? And how do you feel about people who say your latest songs don't sound like classic Reba? The studio atmosphere instantly changed. The air seemed heavier, and Reba's smile faded just slightly. Her expression grew serious as she leaned forward. I'm not sure I understand, Jenna, she said slowly, her voice calm but carrying unmistakable weight. Are you implying that I've lost touch with who I am as an artist? Jenna, realizing the intensity of the moment but unwilling to back down, pressed on. Not exactly. I just think fans sometimes notice a difference in style. Do you ever feel pressured to change your sound to keep up with the industry? One of the co-hosts shifted nervously, clearly sensing that the exchange was becoming tense. We'll get to the music and the tour in a second, the co-host added quickly, trying to ease the situation. But Reba, your fans are so excited to hear about your new shows. Reba, however, wasn't about to let the comment pass. She locked eyes with Jenna, her voice steady but firmer now. I've been making country music for decades. I've stood on stages all over the world. I've sung songs that still play on radios today, and I've never once abandoned my roots. So let me ask you, Jenna, do you really think I'd sit here after all these years and let someone question my authenticity? Jenna tried to soften her stance. I didn't mean to question your integrity, Reba. I just wanted to talk about how country music has been evolving. Reba's laugh was short, almost bitter. Evolving? That's one word for it. But suggesting that my music has somehow stopped being country? That's not evolution, that's an insult. My music has always carried the heart of the genre. The fact that I've chosen to explore different sounds doesn't erase the truth of who I am. The producers behind the cameras began whispering into headsets. The crew shifted uncomfortably and the co-hosts avoided eye contact. Everyone in the room knew they were witnessing live TV history, and there was no way to edit or undo what was happening. Reba's voice grew sharper as she continued. Do you realize how disrespectful it feels to come here, ready to share with my fans, only to be asked if I've sold out? After all these years, after everything I've built, you think I'd throw it away for popularity? Jenna tried again, her voice slightly defensive. That's not what I said, Reba. I admire your career. I admire you. Then show it, Reba shot back quickly. Respect isn't in the words, it's in the way you ask the questions. And what I heard didn't sound like respect. It sounded like a trap. Like you wanted a headline instead of a real conversation. The tension rose to a breaking point. One of the co-hosts leaned in, hoping to redirect. Reba, why don't you tell us a little about your tour? Fans would love to know what they can expect. But Reba wasn't letting go. She turned toward the cameras, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had earned every ounce of her legacy. I've always believed music is about truth, about honesty, and I've spent my life staying true to that. So let me say this clearly. I have never compromised my values for money, fame, or attention. If people can't see that, then they don't really understand country music. Jenna, visibly flustered now, tried to regain control. I think this is being blown out of proportion. You're taking it the wrong way. Reba's eyes narrowed. The wrong way? I've been in this business long enough to know when someone is twisting words. And I won't sit here quietly while someone pretends to respect me but actually tears me down. The silence that followed was electric. The audience sat frozen, hardly breathing. Finally, Jenna made one last attempt to smooth things over. Reba, I think you're overreacting. Nobody here meant any harm. Reba stood slowly, unclipping her microphone with calm precision. The sharp sound of the mic hitting the desk echoed like thunder in the studio. Overreacting? She said, her voice low and firm. No, what I'm doing is standing up for myself. And if that makes me hard to handle, then so be it. She turned toward the cameras once more. To my fans watching at home, let me tell you this. I will never let anyone question my authenticity. I'll keep making the music I believe in, the music that speaks from my heart, whether it's trendy or not. Because real success isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about staying true to yourself. And with that, she walked off the set, her head held high, leaving stunned silence behind. Jenna sat frozen, the other co-hosts avoided her gaze, and the producers scrambled behind the scenes, knowing they had just broadcast one of the most unforgettable live television moments in years. Reba McEntire's walkout wasn't just a reaction, it was a statement. A reminder to her fans, her critics, and the entire industry that true artistry can't be shaken by cheap questions or shallow criticism. In that moment, she didn't just leave the stage. She owned it.